Hi everyone, it's Marta Mama. I have something special for you today. I have a conversation that I filmed back in February with my good friend Deena Citrón. And you have an extract of that conversation in the review for the Meet the Queens, but I wanted to post the whole thing because I think it's super interesting. I'm super proud of it. So, just a couple of things. First of all, in that conversation, we were using a word to talk about Romani people that can be considered a racial slur in many countries. We didn't know that literal translation of that word has been reclaimed in Spain, and we literally had no idea that that word could be considered a racial slur in many countries, so we're very sorry. I tried to censor every single time we said it. We've learned now, so we're not going to be using that word anymore. But thank you to bring me awareness to that because I had no idea. I had longer hair in the video, and the camera quality and the audio is going to be terrible. I'm very sorry. I look horrible. But yeah, I thought it was very interesting. So I hope you like it. Okay, so welcome, Deena Citrón. Deena Citrón is a drag queen from Jerez de la Frontera. She's an amazing queen. She's been working for many years. She's a personal and professional friend of many of the queens on the second season, and she is like the best. She speaks very, very good English.
Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you so much for being here with me.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm Deena. I'm from Jerez, and I've been working as a drag queen for the last 5 years. And I'm a local drag queen. I've never been out much. Like I've been to Madrid like once, and next weekend it's going to be my second weekend. I mean in Sevilla. So like I'm a local queen. I love Jerez, and I've got so many things to talk about it.
Are you from Jerez?
Yeah, born and raised. Never left the city. Never in my life.
So there's this thing with Drag Race España season 2, where 25% of the contestants are from Jerez or work in Jerez or live in Jerez or whatever. 25%, like a lot of them. And we had some people from Jerez last season, like our beloved the Macarena. And what's going on? Like, is Jerez the New York of drag in Spain?
I would say so. It's just like this intern joke we have in Cádiz. It's just like there are so many different kinds of queens, not only in Jerez, but in the whole provincia. It's like massive. Like we have like comedy queens, just like you see Samantha and Estrella. We have like more conceptual queens, like maybe Jota. She's so much fun, and I think it's just like because of the way we are raised in Jerez, we are so I don't know how to explain it, but like we are so open to other cultures, and there's like I don't know, I couldn't tell, but the drag scene here is really interesting.
Yeah, like I know Jerez, like I've known Jerez when I was already an adult was the first time that I discovered Jerez, but you were born there. So I think this will be an interesting conversation because you can have like an outside perspective of a little Yankee girl that knows all these things about Jerez, but I also want to know what do you think? So first of all, Jerez is a small little city in the south of Spain in the province of Cádiz. And Andalusia, it's in Andalusia. Andalusia is known for, the good weather. If you think about all the traditional things that you may know about Spain, like the flamenco dresses or the flamenco music, the horses, all that would be actually from Andalusia, and not that much the rest of Spain. Actually, in the north of Spain, it rains a lot, completely different weather. The people are completely different. So the south of Spain has been like very, has kept their tradition very close. And I think it's helped to empower a lot of people. But we're not talking about Andalusia. We're talking about maybe like a 40-kilometer radius of genius that we have like in our country. Why is Jerez the way it is? What are the things that make Jerez a different place?
I think Jerez has like everything that's good about Andalusia, like where it's placed, the city, because it's very, very close to the seaside. Also because of like wine, like every single thing about Andalusia, it's in Jerez as well. So it's like it's got the good things of the city, but also at the same time it's a very small city, so you get to know each other. Sometimes that might be considered something bad, like having like knowing everyone in the city, but like at the same time here we find it very, very cool because you know everyone. And I was thinking about it, when it comes to people, um in the rest of, maybe not Andalusia, but in Spain, they are very ostracized, and they are mistreated by other people. Here in Jerez is so different. Like everyone knows a person. Maybe you go to Sevilla or maybe you go to Madrid and you don't know anyone, or if you know them, you feel or you think that they are bad people. So I would say they are very integrated in the Jerez community and folklore and everything. So I think that's something that really helped us like be a really interesting city and like embracing our culture and our folklore.
Yeah. I think that let's explain like a little bit of history and geography about Jerez. Jerez isn't the capital of Cádiz. The whole province of Cádiz has its own capital, there's Cádiz, but Cádiz is basically an island, so it cannot grow a lot. So the cities that were nearby, like San Fernando, Samantha Valentine's was born in San Fernando. I don't know if Macarena too, but like the city had to grow, but it didn't have any more physical space. So a lot of like tiny villages started growing a lot bigger. Jerez was known basically for its vineyards. It's where sherry wine is made. Sherry is Jerez, that's what it means. And it's also known for their horses. They have a lot of history and tradition around like horses in a very like traditional folk way here in Spain. They have the horse fair, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
It's like a 1 week long party in the center of the city, and it's a difference with other ferias that we have in Andalusia, since Jerez, the one in Jerez, is completely like public. You can go anywhere and meet a lot of different people. They have a very famous one in the city. Yeah, that's the April fair, but you cannot go to any of the little like houses that they have there. But in Jerez, it's completely open. It's very traditional. That's where you would see all the ladies with the vestido de flamenca and dancing. But there are a lot of other things about Jerez that have a lot to do with all those things, but at the same time, it doesn't. And it's very important to understand why this small city, that's not even the capital of a province, that's not even the capital of the community, that's not even important in the whole Spain, why we have so much talent there.
Okay, you were going to say something. I think it's really, really fun that because of flamenco, and most of the time Jerez is considered to be the birthplace of flamenco. So flamenco, Spain, the way it was perceived outside of Spain in the European community and from the States, I think they regard us as very exotic and like different and stuff. So people from Japan and from other countries in Europe, they started listening to flamenco and they started thinking that Spain had something different, which we have. But so like we made a connection, especially with Asia, like Japan. And most of the time, because I have to say that my parents, they are both flamenco singers, so I know a lot of background about that. Like I remember every time my dad would go to Japan at least once or twice a year, and he would stay there for like 1 month, and he would be working there with Japanese people who were also flamenco singers and flamenco dancers and flamenco guitarists. So I think that's very interesting because they love our music, and here in Spain, I know that in America there's like people who love anime and manga, but here in Spain everyone knows, and it's even more interesting because in Andalusia it's like because of the local TV station, not local, like the whole community,
Andalusia TV
Andalusia, yeah,
station, yeah.
exactly. So the every single TV show that they were broadcasting on TV, for children and for youngsters and stuff, it would be always manga, and not a manga, anime, like Sailor Moon, Sakura, Capto, Dormi, I don't know, like so many of them. Inuyasha, I don't know, like, so I lost the track of what I was saying.
No, like there's this
Anyway,
brotherhood between Japan and Jerez, because a lot of Japanese people are fascinated by the flamenco culture, but people in Jerez are fascinated by the Japanese culture as well.
yeah, we have Salon del Manga. It's like a manga convention we have. I haven't been to Salon del Manga for like, I think over 10 years, but I remember growing up, it was like the main event for young people, especially like when you were around 12, 13, 14, you know, up, like there's a lot of people go there, families go there, so it's very interesting. We have so much fun. There's a lot of things going on there, so I think somehow it made us who we are in Jerez. So but it's very interesting because you have to, you have this very weird contrast
Contrast,
construct,
yes.
no, yeah,
Construct,
thank
yeah.
you, yeah. So between like what's folklore and what's loved in the city as being a local, but at the same time you have all these things from Japan that we love and we think are very cool and shaped us in a way. Like we have all these traditions, but at the same time we love new things, you know?
Yeah, I think because it goes very well with you guys' own tradition, because for example, something that is very traditional is el Carnaval de Cádiz, the Cádiz Carnival. That's more like in Cádiz city, but in like the whole Andalusia, it's a very big thing. It's very different from el Carnaval de Gran Canarias that I've talked about here. It's more like sometimes it's humor based, but it's a lot like people from the same neighborhood will meet together, and it's like a project. It's a hobby. It's an art form. It has many different genres. So it's very like normal cosplaying in Jerez. So that's why I think El Salón del Manga makes a lot of sense, because in like the Andalusian television, they broadcasted like all these anime things, and we're used to dressing up and being very funny and silly in the streets. And so it kind of makes sense somehow.
Yeah. Like when it comes to carnival and disguising and stuff, we love it because I think that when it comes to carnival and those things, it's about humor. People from Cádiz, the whole provincia, I would say, especially in Jerez and in Cádiz, we have so much fun making jokes.
Yes.
We know all the jokes. We just we have fun making.
Yeah, it's the wittiness
fun.
sometimes. It's like
Yeah.
smart, and it can be like
Yeah.
very punk as well, because it's very revolutionary sometimes. Like the things they say sometimes are very counterculture, but it is literally the voice of the people, with its wittiness, with its traditions, with all the nuances, with everything. But I think it's quite important to understand what Jerez is. But Jerez is also known for like a lot of things. I think the thing that impressed me the most about Jerez is how integrated everything is. Like all the people are together. Is it true that Jerez was like the only city? I don't know if this is true or it's just BS, but was it like the only city in Spain where they opened a McDonald's downtown and it closed?
Yeah, that's something that I don't know if it's true, but everyone says that because there was this very like this McDonald's on downtown, and I would go there. We would have birthdays there, but all of a sudden it closed down, and they had like a Victoria's Secret kind of thing. So I have no idea. I've been told that it's been the only McDonald's closed in the whole world. I don't think so, but
Because like when you go there, you get to know that in the same street you have like all these tiny little bars and places where they would like you can take the traditional like cherry wine, and you have all these tabancos, and like there are different like bars and places that you would go, and in those bars you can find the most like punk underground dude with a mohawk and a lot of piercings, and the very old lady all in black, and you would find like a mother with a baby nursing the baby, and like every single person in Jerez kind of like takes back power from their traditions, and they understand that they can be very different, but they're all like part of the same thing.
I there's this thing about Jerez is like if you don't see it anywhere else, you're going to see it in Jerez. It's just like when it comes to flamenco, for example, my parents are flamenco singers, and they always say that flamenco it's a very interesting genre of music because you can mix it with every single that kind of music in the world. I mean, like my dad's been working in India, and he's mixed flamenco with their kind of music, and every time he's like, you can do whatever with flamenco. What I think it's really good about Jerez is like I remember performing at this venue that was a peña. A peña is like a local for flamenco. So the organizers of the party went to that man. They talked about this party that they had in mind, merging flamenco and Andalusian folklore with drag. And so I remember one of the organizers, because I did like a flamenco number, um, and she told me like I've organized many shows at this venue, but I've never seen the owner of the venue stepping on top of the bar stool and recording a show. So I think it's very interesting when you merge drag and flamenco and folklore, because it's so different. You have something so new, like drag. It's not new, but at the same time, it's becoming mainstream and stuff. So it's kind of new with this, with flamenco, which is like was born centuries ago. So I think it's really really cool. And when you know people from the flamenco scene who enjoy your show and kind of feels like you're doing something good because you're bringing back flamenco to the surface, because it's most of the time it's considered something old by new generation. So I think it's really, I don't know, it makes not only Jerez but Cádiz as a whole province like very very cool and open-minded.
Because like flamenco and even people is something that is very like most of the times very traditional and very conservative. Actually, sometimes it's like difficult to figure it out, but when you when you pass the surface, it does make sense that the LGBT community is fascinated by flamenco and flamenco singers, because like all the big divas, all our big references that we have as LGBTQ people, like the story of LGBTQI plus people has been told by all these ladies. And the big flamenco singers, or Camarón, who is also from the area, sang by Lorca, who is a gay poet that we had in Spain. And those are the stories that are told by flamenco singers. Are most of the times those were written by gay men. And we have this fascination with like all these diva singers, las folclóricas and everything, because it does make sense, because of the drama, because we understand like poetry and performance and truth and honesty, like in a very different way, I think.
Yeah, I think like just you mentioning drama, I felt like never thought about it. Just came to mind like um Andalusian folklore, it's very much camp.
Yes.
Like when it comes to camp being this like aesthetic, but also this message and this performative kind of like
Carnaval, baby, Salon del Manga,
yeah,
it's all the
it's like
fucking same thing.
exactly. So like I remember because I my trabajo de fin de máster is like my final project for university was about camp and cross-dressing and drag. In I was like analyzing for American plays from the second half of the 20th century. So I remember one of my teachers because I was studying English literature and not English, I mean like Anglo-Saxon. Anyway, so one of my teachers was like, why don't you talk about things about like in Spain? And I'm like, well, I have to talk about it in American um culture and stuff. So but at the same time I was like thinking, I don't think we have that many references of camp in Spain, but now I'm like it all clicked and I'm like, what work would have done anyway? So like I have this image in my mind of Marife de Triana singing a song called like in the crossroads. She's like talking about falling in love with this man but having this other relationship and how she doesn't know what to do. I remember that I've been told that she used to put what's the name, Vic Vaporub
Yeah,
on
big.
her chest. So when she was singing, she would like smell it or something, so she would cry on stage. So I think that what represents Andalusia so good, like drama, humor, and also like folclóricas were very vocal about LGBT rights. Like you wouldn't have, because most of the time folclóricas were loved, but at the same time disregarded because they were women who were very empowered and who could think by themselves. Like they wouldn't take crap about any man and stuff, so they would stand on their own, and they were most of the time disregarded and like she's, I don't know. So but I remember Rocío Jurado, who's from Chipiona, in not Chipiona. Yes,
Yeah,
no,
Chilean.
yes, yeah.
Yes.
And Lola Flores from Jerez,
Jerez.
they would always say, they would speak out loud like respect gay people, love them, they're not doing anything wrong, back in like 80s and the 90s.
Yeah.
So it's just
I
so
love
cool.
gay people, they say.
Yeah, literally. You have to put like the video on.
I am, girl. Of course I am. There's this super cool movie. I'm gonna leave like a little clip down below. I don't know if you've seen it. That's called Casa Flora. And Lola Flores and Estrellita Castro are in Casa Flora. And it's from the 70s. And it is the example of camp, like the example of a camp, completely surrealistic film. It makes no sense whatsoever. But I'm gonna leave like a little snippet down below for everyone. And one of the things that they have to understand that for many years, from like 1939 to pretty recently, being gay was illegal in Spain. We were like in a dictatorship where dressing up as a different gender was illegal, or even like being gay was illegal. The church has like a very big impact, especially in the south of Spain, I believe, because of the traditions, because of the folk and everything. So many times gay people had to use flamenco because it was the only thing that was available. We were not open to everything that was going on in the world. We were not open to Cher or to David Bowie. We were not. We had to find our new symbols because we were like, they stole us our own symbols. So it was very much like tiny little codes or the stories they would tell or all those things. That's how queer stories just kept alive for many years. They have been, las folclóricas and all this have been literally what has kept all that knowledge and all that culture alive through that dictatorship, in my opinion.
In Spain, like not only in Andalusia, but in Spain, gay liberation back in the States, it was back in 1969. Here it wasn't until 79 after the dictator had died. So I think that as a gay queer community, we needed more time, and we needed it took us more time. But in Andalusia, even though it was illegal and we had so many problems being openly gay and LGBT, even though that was going on, nobody could stop us. Like, we all have this aunt or uncle that were gay. We've all known somebody who's gay since we were born, a friend of our family or a relative. It's just like, I don't know. So they all have stories to tell, and I think that's very interesting. And in Andalusia, it's like way different than in other communities in Spain. So like Malaga was like the Torremolinos, I think, was like the place to be if you were gay back in the time. And also Hinojos, that's in Huelva.
Yes.
It's a very small town, very, very small town, but they were open to
And they are nowadays. We have our Belial, we have Jose Carrillo, we have Las Niñas, we have a lot of things going on in Hinojos.
Yeah, it's so cool, so cool, so cool, so cool.
But I think you hit the jackpot because you said something that was missing from our whole explanation, and that's storytelling. And then everyone knows someone who is a gypsy person or someone who is LGBT. One of the things that impressed me the most about Jerez is that the way that you socialize, both with your friends, with your families, or with people that you don't even know, is always like in larger groups, and it's always like a circle of people, very different people talking to each other. That's what flamenco is. Of course you can do it on stage, but I don't know, the origins of flamenco is like being in a big circle. And a lot of the things that are very traditional in Jerez and that are like very specific from that area go along like those lines. Like in Christmas, you guys have las zambombas, where they like, you basically eat, drink, sing and dance as much as you can. Everyone is around a big circle singing to songs that have been like, that they have all kept alive and you've learned from your grandparents and they have known from their grandparents, and you can go back 1,000 years literally, and you've never seen them written anywhere. You just know them, and they're like Christmas carols. They're supposed to be Christmas carols, but they're always about the very horny priest and drinking wine until you pass out. And it's always like around this big fire with all of this food, with las tagarninas con el ajo caliente, la berza gitana. Like there is a special, like that's how you socialize. And or you would go with like your extended family to the countryside and share this very big, like you won't serve yourself in an individual plate. You would all go to the same like big bowl full of the food. Like it is very, when you live like that, of course you know people from very different venues in life, so you are more used to like being all together, like socially with very different people. That's what makes it open, and it can be very traditional, but it's not traditional as I'm not open to new stuff. It's traditional where it's empowered by things that they've told us that we shouldn't be empowered. And every Jerezano, every person from Jerez is very proud of their roots and the people that they know. And of course, there's a lot of discrimination still everywhere in Jerez, of course. But the empowerment that people from Jerez and from Cádiz have of like their heritage and people and their culture and flamenco and everything, it's like something that is shared by many different people, and it's never an excuse to say you don't belong.
I think that's the thing. You would never hear someone saying leave or you don't belong here, because it's just like this community we've created that I'm so proud of. And I don't know, it's like you were saying, I remember when I was like a little child, my mom was kind of famous locally, so everyone knew her. But at the same time, I remember her like talking to people down the street, and I was like, who's that? And she like, why would I know? And I'm like, what do you mean?
Literally you on a Monday morning walking down Calle Ancha after being in Pandora in your club where you work.
Exactly. So it was so much fun, because I would feel like, why would my mom talk to someone she doesn't know? But at the same time, it was really fun, like being able to be open to other people. And like, it's literally, I work every Friday and Saturday on a local gay club, and I smoke, so I usually go outside from time to time to have a cigarette. And I couldn't tell you like a single day where I would go out and I wouldn't see someone singing flamenco. It's just like it's so much fun to see, because like it's 6 o'clock in the morning. 6 o'clock. I mean, like I know in the States they don't stay that late at clubs, but like
6
here I go
a.m. we're
home.
talking like
Yeah.
parties will start. If it's very early, they would start at midnight, but usually maybe you get to the club at 2-3 a.m.
Yeah.
That's partying in Spain. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I go home at around 8 a.m. every Saturday morning and Sunday morning. So anyway, like I would go out at 6 o'clock to have a cigarette, and they would be singing and dancing right like down the street, not like at a, I don't know, like a corner or something. Like I remember last weekend cause where like honking, because they wouldn't leave like the I don't know, it's so much fun. I really enjoy that. And
they're like
because like when it comes to flamenco, everyone knows someone who can sing flamenco, or even if they don't know or they can't because they don't have the range. She doesn't have the range, so like they still want to participate and clap and dance, and they have so much fun. And that's the main thing about Zambomba, which is the Christmas party that we have. Like you go down the street, everyone is out, no one's staying at home, older people, children, like every single one, it's out singing, having so much fun, drinking a lot and eating a lot. That's something we do, like we eat and drink and sing at the same time, and it's so much fun. It's really, I don't know, it's just like Christmas carols, but make it even funnier. Most of the time the songs we sing are funny.
Yeah,
Like,
they're all like, there's someone horny, like a nun needs someone to put their hand up their skirt, and there's always like a lot of wine and horny people all the time.
yeah, I mean, like my favorite Spanish Christmas carol, or Andalusian, I would say it's Calle de San Francisco.
Yes.
Okay, that's my favorite one, and my favorite version is Baila Paquera de Jerez.
I'll leave that down
The
below.
song, what?
I'll leave that down below for everyone to listen to.
So it's so funny because it has nothing to do with Christmas, like
Nothing.
at all.
Yeah.
But you can only sing, that's something that's very funny. You can only sing Christmas carols at Christmas, even if they're not about Christmas. It's like forbidden. And also Semana Santa has influenced us a lot, like
The
because I remember
drama, the
drama.
performance, the extraness. Oh my God.
Like speechless. Like Semana Santa, we like when you're queer
Yeah.
and you're growing up,
Yeah.
you feel disconnected from
Yeah.
society. And when it comes to a city that's so involved in tradition, when it comes to the Holy Week, when it comes to those Christmas carols we were talking about, flamenco, you feel like you don't belong. But when you reach that moment in your life, that happened to me when I was in my early 20s, when you connect with your tradition and your culture, you feel like liberated and you feel happiness. Like I'm about to cry because it's like I always felt like I didn't belong in my hometown, even though I was born and raised here and everyone loved me and everyone was like supportive and stuff. But I felt like I had nothing to do with flamenco. I had nothing to do with Semana Santa. And I would go every single day during the Holy Week to go and see the processions. And I would go to see my parents perform, and I would go, like, I was very much involved, but I felt like it didn't belong to me and I didn't belong there. So now that people like J. Carajota, Estrella Extravaganza, Samantha, también, de Macarena, they're showing what we are capable of. Like, for instance, you can take, what's her name? Carmen Farola. She's also Andalusian, but she hasn't portrayed that way of thinking and that way of embracing her culture, maybe because she didn't find that place to feel comfortable about it. But when it comes to Macarena, she was talking about Lola Flores, the very single time she had the opportunity to. She was wearing a vestido
La
de gitana.
peineta.
Exactly. Like well, I think that Macarena's entrance look was like the epitome of
Yeah, of Jerez de
what
la
it's like to
Frontera.
be, yeah, Jerez and Cádiz. It's like she merged like Sailor Moon, which is
Yeah.
a very gay thing in Cádiz, and dress. So it's like that's what Jerez and Cádiz is about. Macarena entrance, getting in Drag Race. So I don't
We
know. It's just
still
like
have to be. We still have to see the new girls like walking
yeah,
in, what they have to offer. The three that we have that are from the area are Samantha Valentines, who you work with all the time. You both work in Pandora Club Jerez. All the
yeah,
time. So she's kind of like not your drag mom, but like your drag auntie. Like the
yeah,
first time you performed, she was the one that hosted and was there for you and everything.
yeah.
Then we have J. Carajota that you've known for a very long time, and that we've all discovered now that she's a baby and she's been lying about her age since she was like 15 years old. Awesome. Yeah. And we also have Estrella Extravaganza, who is like a good friend of yours, like you're very happy. What can you tell us about the queens?
Okay, Estrella is going to be like the star of the season. I know for sure because she's so much fun. She is so kind. She's she's one of those person that you look at them and you say, I would never hate them. I would never dislike them. I know I will love them for my entire life. And that's what I hope that happens with the public and with the audience. And I remember like going out to El Retiro, which is like a park we have here in Jerez. That's where queer and geeks would hang out. and you would go there. I remember the first time I went there, I was like 14, I think. So I wouldn't even call my friends, and I had to walk 30 minutes to be there. And I would get there and I would hang out with every single one. And Estrella was one of them. We were such good friends, but she went to Barcelona when she was 18 because she wanted to study journalism there. And I remember like her beginning to what was the thing, like she wanted to try drag, and she was like, so she was having so much fun, and I was like beginning at the same time. And we both performed in Cadiz, because they were like having this drag contest for local queens. And I'll send you a picture that I want you to have here.
Yeah.
And if Estrella sees this, she's gonna love it. And I really love her. She's so much fun. She's so cool. She's a geek as well, and she's so queer. I love her. When it comes to Jota, she's also like so geek. Like she loves anime and stuff. But at the same time, she's so proud of her heritage and her origins and stuff. And I think that's really good. And I think that, I mean, like, I was kind of mad when I saw Cherry on UK seasons 2, because she was the very first queen in the franchise, and I was like, oh, so cool. But then I thought of now Shani, who's also one of my friends, and Jota, they won't be the very first drag queen on Drag Race. But anyway.
Yeah, because yesterday we had the news that not only these fantastic queens are Drag Race España, but also our friend La Shani La Santa won this very important final of this very important contest that they do in Madrid, La Dragalada. So congratulations for her. She is the reincarnation of Lola Flores. And I'm sure that we're going to see a lot more of her. And she is the sweetest, funnest little like ball of energy. I love her.
Yeah, she's like so much fun. She's always making fun of everything, and she's like at the same time very insecure, but at the same time she exploded in on stage. Incredible. And I've known Jota for 3 years. That thing I talked about the venue, she was performing there too, with other 3 girls from Sevilla, who are also like very into folklore and stuff. They are Las Niñas. So like we were performing, we were having so much fun. That's when she told me like I'm 18, but she was actually like 15 or 16 years old. It was so, and then because like she knew another drag queen from Jerez, and she was like Mari Conazo. That's like I would love to translate that name, because like Mari Conazo is like Mary. That's cool. Like it's the best thing, you know, like fagot tree or something like that. That would anyway. So they knew each other because of El Salon del Manga. It's so much. It's all like going in circles, like Salon del Manga, Semana Santa, Zambomba, flamenco, caballo, feria. We all know each other. We go everywhere. Anyway, so she's like, I know these girls who are also starting to do drag and stuff. You want to participate? And we created like this house that's Sherry Queens, like Sherry for wine and Queens because we Queens. And we had like this festival in a venue from the ayuntamiento. How do you say ayuntamiento?
The city town hall.
Yeah, like they opened the space for us, and they offered like the opportunity for us to take drag out of the night scene. That's also something that happens here in Spain. Like people think that drag queens belong in the nighttime, but you can take drag to everywhere, to a theater, to everywhere where you want to. And we had so much fun. Our grandma
is a drag queen.
Yeah, totally. Rocío Jurado, Lola Flores,
Pantoja, and all of them. Yes.
all of them, they are. So it was so much fun because all of our grannies could come and see us perform, and it was so much fun, so much fun. And what can I say about Samantha? You're gonna love her. She's so
Yeah.
much fun. She's so witty.
Yes.
I don't like comparisons, but at the same time, for you to understand the way we perceive Samantha and the way we love her, I think comparing Spain and the States, she's the Bianca del Rio.
I have
Spain.
another one.
Ooh.
She's the Jasmine Masters. She's the
True,
viral
but
queen. She's the
yeah,
queen that every
yeah,
other queen loves, and that had
yeah,
to wait until like viral videos on the internet of her just like being her. And
yeah,
now like absolutely everyone adores her. It doesn't matter what
yeah,
happens in Drag Race, actually. Like it didn't have
yeah.
matter with Jasmine Masters.
I love Samantha because she's an insult queen, but she doesn't take it personal and she doesn't go to places where she shouldn't go. So I think she's so much fun. She's always making fun of herself. That's something very important when it comes to drag and when it comes to performing. When you're able to just say, screw it, I just fucked it up, but it doesn't matter because I'm having fun and everyone's laughing, even though my wig fell off or I don't know, I almost fell in my heels. So it's like she's so much fun. She's also very loving. She's not that, maybe compared to Estrella and Jota, not so much into folklore, but at the same time, she knows her references.
Yeah.
Like she knows everything. She has like every single Ghibli movie in her collection, but at the same time, she loves Isabel Pantoja. She loves Rocío Jurado, so she knows her references, and
I think
that's something I
the
really
folk
love.
is such a part of herself and her personality that she doesn't have to perform on that folk for that to be part of her identity. But all this wittiness and this like quick insult, shadiness, but also the openness and the loving and the welcoming, that is like very Andalusia. Like even though she's not dressed like Jota Jota with a flamenco dress or anything, you can instantly tell where she's from.
Yeah, and that's so much fun. It's like we were talking about it before we started recording, but like when you said like when it comes to manga and anime, like Samantha, she always makes these jokes about like she has Shin-chan's voice,
Yeah.
which is so much fun. I don't know. I don't think Americans know Shin-chan as
I'm
well as we do.
hoping for us for her to do Shin-chan in Snatch Game or something that level of crazy. Like
that would
I
be-
need like yeah, and I want Jota to do Lola Flores. That is like if she doesn't do Lola Flores, like I'm gonna be very upset.
I don't think she would even think about any other one
Yeah, I'm
because
just
she
like...
does her so good. She's so amazing, so amazing.
And she's like a punk bitch too, isn't she? Like
she is.
She takes a lot of pride in her culture, but is something that is very like contra-culture. Like she is very proud of being a POC. She like knows her thing, and it makes it like very neo-traditional in a very interesting, like politically interesting Gen Z kind of way.
Yeah, it's just like I'm so jealous because I wanted to be the very first punk queen on Drag Race Spain. Anyway, I'm so glad she's in. But like I'm so happy to see her there because she's so young and she's like been working her ass off. So I just want them to like we were talking about that in the Draga Charla yesterday. I don't really, it's not that I want them to win, because if they can win, that'd be great. But when it comes to my sisters from the provincia, I know for sure that they're gonna have fun and people are gonna love them, and they are going to be beloved, and they are going to have so many opportunities that they deserve. So it's just like I only have like love, and my heart's so tender right now. Like I feel like I'm about to cry all the time every time I think they're on Drag Race, even though I knew. But like so happy.
Let me explain something. After Drag Race season 1, the queens did this tour around Spain, and when they went to Sevilla, that's when I met Deena in person, and you can watch that through A3 Player Premium. I thought they were going to put it on Wow Presents Plus, but since I'm from Spain, I can really see what's going on. And that day, they took you, lady, and they put you up on the stage and they started doing this stupid thing. And you gave like this performance lip sync craziness. And then they decided to cut it out. So literally no one has seen that, but I'm here to make justice for Deena. So Deena was the star of El Gran Hotel de las Reinas when it was recorded. And we were so excited. And then she wasn't in the recording, the final cut.
Anyway, I had so much fun. Puppy Poison put a finger up my asshole. That's something that I will always have in my heart. And they had so much fun, so that's what mattered.
And do you remember what happened when they called you? So they went to one side of the audience and they pointed to Deena and they said, you, come up. And then they went to the other side of the audience and they pointed directly at me. And they said, you, come up. And since it was Puppy Poison, and I kind of like know Puppy Poison, so I thought like me. And she was like, yeah, you in red. And I was in red. So I stood up. And then she said, no, not you, the girl behind you. And like 6 rows behind me, there was another girl in red. And I felt like, has this happened to you? Like when you're going to high five someone and you're like, or when you think they're talking to you and it's someone behind you and you're like, well, that happened to me in front of a lot of people and a lot of cameras.
I saw you from the stage, and I was like, this is going to be so much fun. We're going to make out on stage and stuff. And then when Puppy was like, no, not you. And I was like, oh no.
The shade. Well, then she came and she apologized and everything. But you know, I think we were too powerful for that stage, you know.
Yeah. Well, maybe if you were there, they would have broadcasted that part on the
exactly.
TV. Anyway. Well, everything happens
Deena,
for a reason. So
Deena for Drag Race España season 3. Deena for president. I want Deena to be your like main Spanish transvestite. She is the best. She can dance, she can sing, she can what else? Speak in English. Like that's impressive, girl.
They can have me for an all-stars or something.
Say yeah.
There's this thing I always joke about, like if I'm going to be on Drag Race, it's going to be on season 7.
Yeah.
Which I think is the most iconic from the US TV series, which that's my favorite one. And anyways, I'll go if they call me. Like I wouldn't think it. Like straight away, like yes, you want me there? I'm there. I'm already.
But I think it's good that you're waiting it out. Like it has to be a lot. It has to be a lot. It's good for a couple of like of your very close friends to go buy it, and then they can tell you like, cut on this, try this more.
Yeah, and they will
take
also
care
have
of
the
your
money
mental
to lend
health
me.
This way. What?
So they will also have the money to lend me.
Yeah. It's like
them.
a cycle of money that goes like in drag, out of drag, in drag, yeah.
Like you go to the Drag Race and then your little sister goes there next season, and then you have to give her all your money, and then anyway, so I had so much fun talking to you.
Thank you so very much. I'm going to leave you Deena's social media and Deena's PayPal, for example, down below.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
So I know that you would love to go to a show at Deena's place, but you probably cannot fly to Jerez. So instead of spending those $5-10 in the ticket to go into the bar, just send that to her. She would appreciate it a lot, I'm sure.
That would be lovely.
Tip your bitches. Okay. Okay, Deena, I'm seeing you at the party this weekend. Party together.
I can't wait.